in this video, I'm going to show you my exact step-by-step formula of how I synthesize a kick from scratch, how I process it, and how I can make sure that this kick will sound good in the club or basically on any system. So just listen to those two tracks and try to pick, or at least like understand, which of those two kicks sounds better with the bass line. Let me show you. And now the second one. So let me know which kick sounds better to you in the comments below. And if you're interested in working together, you want to get some coaching, check the links down below. I have my flagship one-on-one coaching program, group coaching program, and an online community. So without further talking, let's get started with the video. So as usual, I want to start with my presentation with a little bit of theory behind, so you understand like how I do it, my intentions behind every action. So yeah, how to make a perfect sounding kick. So first thing first is we got to understand the bass, right? So what is the fundamental frequency of my bass line, right? So in this example, you can see that we have one point at 54 Hertz. The next one is 108. The next one is 204, and the rest is not really that important, right? So these are the main harmonics of the bass. And ideally, we don't want the kick to compete with them, right? So if I go back to the project and I play you the first kick, so it's kind of okay, but in a club setting on real phones, I don't really like how it sounds because it doesn't give that, you know, the pump, the punch. So just let's listen one more time. Even if it's long enough, it's like either too short or either like too long, and this is why I don't like using kick samples for my tracks, because quite often you're gonna get tricked with that click. Oh, I can hear the click, so does that really mean that the kick works with the bass? No, it doesn't. In fact, if we go here and we go to the bass, right, and we look at the analyzer, so the red in this example is the kick. So you can see that the kick is pretty much occupying the same frequencies, so 54, 108. So we have quite a bit of conflicting frequencies here, right? On the other hand, if we take a look at the new kick, right, this one, yes, like you will still have the conflicts in frequencies where you have the main harmonics of the bass line of the kick. It's just like the nature of electronic dance music. It's like almost impossible to like make them not conflict. This is why we use sidechain to carve out the space for the kick. But if you look at you can see here, right, between let me go back to the presentation. Between 54 and 108, we have the kick, like the body of the kick. Same between 108 and 204, like we have the body. So once you understand what are the main harmonics of the bass, this is when we can start creating our kicks. Let me go here, and now I'm going to walk you through how the process is going to look like. To make sure we don't overload the speaker in the club, we must position the sub of the kick either below or above the main harmonic. In most cases, it will be above, because if your kick is too low, it's just not going to really sound good. However, it depends on the style that you're making. I wouldn't say that you cannot position the kick below the bass, right? I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, like there are some genres where the kick is like is more powerful, like it may be lower than the bass line, right? So again, just keep in mind the genre that you're making, the like stylistical choice that you have, and then, you know, based on that, have intention. So the sub of the kick will be around here. if it sounds good, it sounds good. Awesome. I wanted to add this one. The thump of the kick will be between those 2 points, and the knock or the punch of the kick will be around here, right? Once you understand this, this is when we can start creating our kick, right? So I'm gonna play you my kick. Like it's gonna be like a ready kick, but we'll make one from scratch so you can see the full process. I'm gonna be using a plugin called Kick Drum. Amazing plugin. Absolutely love it. So let me play you the new kick. This is, by the way, without any processing. I'll show you with and without, but just listen to how it sounds. That's another one. It just sounds good. Like well-rounded sound, not too much, not too little, right? It's just really good. And without the real phones, it just sounds okay. Just sounds normal, right? It sounds like that the kick is just fits the bass perfectly. It kind of pushes on the harmonics of the bass line, and it becomes like one cohesive thing. And this is why I really, really love this plugin. So once we understood the bass, let's talk about the kick. I'm going to show you first on the slides here, and then we'll talk about how to do this step by step, right? So if you go here and we take a look at the points of the kick. So first one is 246, right? The punch is 246, thump 130. So this is exactly between the 204 and 108, right? Sub is at 73 hertz, right? One of the lowest points. And the fundamental, like the really, really low part is 42 hertz, right? So this way I'm able to synthesize a perfect kick for my track. And this is why I absolutely love this plugin. So let's go step by step. I'm going to create a new kick from scratch so you see the full process, how we could utilize that. So keep in mind the numbers that we have here, right? So because that's going to be the reference point. So we're gonna go here, and we're gonna start with a new kick. This is the default preset. This is how it looks. May look a little bit weird, so I'm gonna do everything from scratch here. And let's make, because I know my kick was like 175, for example. Let's go to EQ and disable this. So I'm just going to play you the kick. Let's make sure that it's not too loud. And this is the kick. It sounds more like a psytrance-y kick, but that's okay, right? So let's make sure that we have consistent levels, and let's play with the bass. It's not going to sound great at first, but we're going to make sure that it sounds good. It's a little bit too much, so let's go here. And let's start with the points that we have. So I think in total, that should be like around 4 points. What we want to do here is, I already used this plugin, so I know how to use it. It would probably take you a bit of time to like fully understand how to work with this plugin. So in this case, let me see here. So we want to start with 246, because that's going to be like the 246, right? You can adjust that. It's again, it's like not right or wrong. Like we could go maybe a little bit more up, maybe a little bit more down, right? It just depends on the points of the bass here. So let's delete this point, and maybe let's do like this. And I also want to get rid of the clicky transient. Not the biggest fan of that. Let's shape the kick a little bit like this, okay? So we can do like something like this. It's already sounding kind of okay, but we're gonna make sure that it fits perfectly, right? So the first point is, again, let me reference my my bass. So between, yeah, around 230, something like that. We can play with that. Let's start with this point. You want to fine tune the kick like this, right? So let's adjust it a little bit. Okay, that's the first point. Now the second one is gonna be, let's reference this one, 130. Like I will intentionally make it a bit different, just so you could understand, right? And then this one, we could go like this, and then let's adjust, yeah, let's go up around like 40 something. Yeah, already good. How much time did it take me to make this kick, right? And it's not even fine-tuned, right? So let's play a little bit with this point, because that's like the thump of the kick. I'm just liking it the way it sounds now. It's just sounding really good, right? And then the last point will be like 73-ish, but here we have 60, and we can play a little bit with the last point. That's a bit too much, right? It becomes too subby, so you want to make sure that you have the right distance between the points, right? So we can make like... Okay, that's pretty good. It's okay for now. We got the basic points, and I'm gonna fine tune that. Let's say with one more point here. Just make sure that it fits well. Okay, something like that. Now let's go back here and play with our with the gain thing here. That's pretty important, right? So what I love about this plugin is if we go here, like with the gain, we can adjust how much of the body, how much of the thump of the kick, like you can shape the kick literally how you want. So like the kick is a little bit too boomy. So what we can do here is let's reduce the click a little bit here. You can also take a look at the EQ. It goes like this. And now let's reduce this part, right? So I want to control this one a little bit more, and we can do something like this. So I just want, for the beginning, I want a well-rounded kick. I don't want it to be like too boomy, too, you know, too powerful, too clicky. So once you figured out we can see here, by the way, this is the 66. So it is exactly, if we go back here, we'll look on the bass here, right? So it is a little bit above 54. So this way the kick is not pushing on the same harmonic as the bass does, right? So let's go back here, and now we can tweak the pitch a little bit, the pitch points. So we can play with the position, we can play a little bit with the too much. Let me double check what points we had. 130, right? So 130 is good. And then we need to position this one properly. You see, it's pretty easy to make it sound good. me see, 50. Okay, I think we should put it a little bit more like this. Then we can adjust the lines like this. And then let me work on the last point here. Okay, this is pretty good. It's pretty close to how I wanted to sound. Something like that. Let's... Pretty dang good, pretty dang good. Okay, next thing, what I love about the plugin here is you can also shape the kick with the EQ, and the EQ is built in the synthesis, right? So it's not like a post-processing thing. I saw that in one of the tutorials, like one of the reviews of this plugin, and what I love about this plugin is you can shape the kick exactly how you want, so you don't need to do like a lot of compression. You can just shape the kick fully here, and you will have a perfect kick. And then we can reduce the boominess a little bit with a little low shelf here. Let's do like around... Maybe you want to add a bit of punch. Let's say something like this. It was, I think, 250. That was where we had the punch, right? You can see here it affects the whole thing. Okay, so we are pretty close to making this perfect kick. One more thing that we can double check is, let me see, so you can see here. So we could do a little cut at 108, so that will be 108. Just to make sure we can carve out a bit of space for our kick. Excuse me, the bass, I mean. Because you can see, like, you can hear really well, because once we start pushing this point, the kick occupies the same frequencies as the bass, and because of that, like, we start having conflicts, like masking. So we can reduce, like, wait, let's go back. We can reduce 2 dB here, right? And that's... And if you want, for example, so yeah, here we have our perfect kick. Almost. Of course, it will require you some time to dial in the right settings, but I hope like it gives you a good understanding of the process. Of course, like I don't think it sounds as good as this first one that I did. It's a little bit too bassy, it's a little bit too subby, but it's like pretty close to being a perfect kick, right? So once you play this with... Maybe the second one is a little bit better, but again, there's no like wrong or right. It's really important to consider the context, right? So in this case, let's stick with the kick 2. I think it's pretty good in terms of the balance. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now let's talk about one really important thing. I should have actually showed you this slide, but yeah, I mean, this slide basically explains the logic, like what we did here, right? So once you find the pitch for the kick, now you can shape it. So you saw how I did that, and really with these points you can adjust, you can shape the kick exactly how you want, right? So if you want to get rid of the transient, if you want to reduce the boominess and so on. And the last thing is going to be the length, right? So it's really important to reference good songs, references, right? So here we have two examples. So the first one is a good sounding kick where I dialed in the right settings, the right length, and so on. And this one is a kick where it's too much. That was the first kick, right? If I play with the bass and I'm gonna make it intentionally very long, we're gonna see how you can hear that it just sounds like crap, right? So if we go here, it becomes too much. Like it's noticeable even like this. However, if we go back here and we reference with sub ninja again, let me solo like this. So you can see here we have space in between the kick hits, so it works well with the bass. We can do the same thing with the first one, right? So we can do like this. This sounds a little bit better, although like on headphones it might be missing a little bit of that like sub. But what I noticed with kicks, with bass on headphones, you will want to boost the bass, the sub, and so on. But be really careful. This is why I'm always using real phones. So if we test it, let's say I really like the car setting. So listen like this. It's just perfect, right? It's not conflicting with the bass. So yeah, with sampled kicks, it's either too short or too long. And there's like so much stuff that you have to do with the kick, right? Pod compression, EQ, like this kind of stuff. Like, I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I do have some processing on this one. And let's compare with the... Yeah, the second kick is also good, right? So from here, you can make a bunch of kicks. I think the first one is a little bit more like balanced and well-rounded, but then again, maybe if you like, you want to have a more subby kick. This one is also pretty nice. Like in the car, it doesn't conflict. We can do the... I think I might have reduced the gain, like maybe a little bit too much. So but again, not really important for this video. So in the plugin itself, you can change the length. There are different algorithms, see which one sounds best. But basically is you can change the length here. This is what I would do. Really important. And the last thing for this video is going to be about processing. When it comes to the processing, it's like this cherry on top. So although like this sounds good, I have put a bit of saturation on the kick and the bass group. So now we have that drive, but be really careful when it comes to group processing, kick bass processing. Don't over compress, be really intentional. I don't want to talk too much about that because that's not important for this video. Because you can see the sound with and without processing, it's really different. So with processing, you can still like reshape the sound. And for example, we can put a bit of, let's say, compression and saturation on the first kick, and this is how it's going to sound. Not really a big difference, right? So I have a philosophy right now. I try to be like really gentle, really minimal when it comes to my processing and stuff. So if I can avoid processing, I'll do that. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you learned something new, because this plugin, oh man, like I was getting so frustrated with my music that I can't get like my kick to sound good. This plugin really saved my life, so I really wanted to make this tutorial for you. So you can follow the exact steps, and this way you can make a perfect sounding kick for your tracks. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope you learned something valuable from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.